It's V for the very nearly finished, or V for the V&A, the very fabulous Victoria and Albert Museum. It is naturally named after the reoccurringly featured Queen Victoria and her consort Prince Albert. Well, she was the longest-reigned female monarch of all time, 63 years, with the present Queen Liz coming up fast on the inside lane. Yes, this is Pinkietessa's A-Z of London, or PAZL for short. This hoot of a tooting museum is situated on the Cromwell Road, or more accurately, Cromwell Gardens, close to South Kensington Tube Station, with its own entrance in the tunnel. Not this tunnel, but this tunnel. The V&A is located in an area not well known as Albertopolis, which is an area of immense culture, scientific and educational importance. Yes, just what the Scholastic Brigade ordered. It includes the Imperial College London, the National History Museum, Royal Albert Hall, Royal College of Art, Royal College of Music, the Royal Geographical Society, the Science Museum, the V&A of course, and the Albert Memorial, and now including the recent addition of the Ismaili Centre. Quite a lot then. I had never heard of Albertopolis before this time, and have never heard of anyone else talk of it or even say the word. The phrase was coined in the 1850s due to Prince Albert's driving force behind the Great Exhibition of 1851, which were held in Hyde Park on the north-east reaches. Prince Albert just loved all that sort of stuff, culture, the scholastic, the very modern Victorian technology, etc., etc. In truth, the phrase was probably an intersection of celebration and lampoon, something I love immensely. The proceeds from the Great Exhibition funded the acquisition of what eventually became known as the V&A, and the name Albertopolis fell to disuse after his death in 1861, but is being revived single-handedly by me. Albertopolis, after me everyone! Albertopolis! The only other occasion the revival of the name Albertopolis was put into practice was by a bunch of architectural historians of the 1960s, the WAGs. They were an emerging conservation movement intent on saving the area from demolition by the dastardly expanding Imperial College. The Vipers! It seems to have died the death since then, so now it's up to me. Albertopolis! The thoroughfare running north to south connecting Cromwell Road and Kensington Gore, which is Exhibition Road, yep, that's all about the Great Exhibition of 1851. They weren't going to let that little extravaganza go unremembered, but it did get forgotten because no one knows what it refers to now except for you and I. The V&A, in the same way as many other museums, went through a metamorphosis. Its origins were with the Great Exhibition of 1851. Its first director, Henry Cole, was no happier than with the snappy title of the Museum of Manufacturers, which opened in the best month of all, May 1852, at Marlborough House on Pall Mall. Now, we've been there before, with S for Sofitel. Marlborough House is still knocking about, but now it's a Grade 1 listed building. The museum didn't hang about there too long before it ended up in the September of the same year into Somerset House. 2 years later, in 1854, they were discussing a new name, the South Kensington Museum, and with that, another move, but this time to the present site. The site was then occupied by the Brobton Park House, so they went at it, extending the building and adding a refreshment room in a big way. In 1857, refreshments in a museum were one hell of a newfangled idea. Today, they are merely bog standard. Queen Victoria officially opened the V&A with a bang. No, she didn't. She opened it quite normally on the 22nd of June 1857 and more than likely had a cuppa, but we don't actually know. Albert was still alive at this point, but presumably he was around doing something dreadfully official. The building itself, especially the Victorian areas, are a piecemeal addition, attacked by various architects of the day, as they just went blinking Victorian bonkers about it, and that pretty much covers that. But on the 17th of May 1899 saw the laying of the foundation stone ceremony for the Aston Webb building, which was witness to two public events: the change of the name for the last time to the Victoria and Albert Museum, and the last official public appearance of Queen Victoria, now aged 80-odd. She died a year or so later, along with, strangely enough, the Victorian era. The advent of the Edwardian period saw the V&A's recognisable red brick and Portland stone main facade emerge, which stretches 720 feet along Cromwell Gardens.
Mr. Webb goes off to town.
No, he doesn't. He took influence from the Renaissance, the medieval, the Romanesque and Gothic styles, and just put them all together. What a fella! If only I could get away with that, I'd do it. So today, as a museum, what is the V&A's raison d'etre? And for all the heathens, that's reason for existence. To stuff itself full of things. No, come on, of course it's not. The V&A is the world's largest museum of decorative art and design. The permanent collection numbers some 4.5 million objects. Quite a few then. From its foundation in 1852, it has grown over the years to cover 12.5 acres with 145 galleries. The collection spans a mammoth 5,000 years, but nay, mammoth was available for comment. There's not even one knocking about in the Natural History Museum down the road. I asked. They are all dead, extinct, no more, you twits. But if you want to let loose a bull and cause a bit of mayhem, you could have a whale of a time in the glass department, or the ceramics, the textiles, costumes, silver, ironwork, jewellery, furniture, medieval objects, sculpture, prints and print making, drawings and photographic department, thus making it a collection of one of the largest and comprehensive in the world. And don't forget the world's largest collection of post-classical sculptures and second largest collection of Italian Renaissance. Obviously, Italy, the largest, has to be. Renaissance? Oh, a period that bridges the late medieval to the nearly modern. It lasted about 300 years and was much glorified in the 19th century. And since then, we've been spending a ton of time debunking that adherence. The V&A also features coming and going shows that might or might not have an entrance fee, the fees for which have so many and complicated variations I could not possibly go into it or decide what variant I might come under. It's enough to put anyone off unless you are under 12, when it's free. Since 2001, the museum has embarked on a major £150 million renovation programme, which has seen a major overhaul of all the departments, including the introduction of newer galleries, gardens, shops and visitor facilities. Since the overhaul, like many other national UK museums, it's free to get in. How fab is that? The V&A is up to date and modern, with a ton of info on its website. Would Prince Albert think that a marvel? Although perhaps his missus mightn't have been so amused, but then no one knows. Well, you do know, because Pinkietessa knows everything. And that has been my V for the Vicky and Bertie Museum, or just the V&A. Not liked my video yet? Then like it now, please. Thank you. Also, Do subscribe to my video on YouTube. You know you will be the first to receive updates on all new releases. How fab is that? There's always good stuff on Pinkietessa.com.
If you haven't, just follow me, and you soon will see.
Still time to subscribe? It's never too late.